I think as human beings, we have quite good intentions. If you were to sort of ask somebody, how do you visualize your life in the future? What kind of life do you want? I mean, I think most people would just sort of say, I want a nice life. I'd like an easy life. But the problem with that is it lacks clarity. It's not specific enough. It's very broad just to say we want a nice life. It doesn't have the detail in there. And because it lacks the clarity, it doesn't have an aim. It doesn't have goals. And if I'm without an aim, I'm aimless. And then I don't have a direction, which makes achieving the things I want to achieve in life quite difficult because I haven't got a direction towards those things. So it's far better to ask ourselves, if I could have it, what kind of life would I want in the future? And it's important to realize that we're multifaceted human beings. Just to say I want a nice life is too broad. We want to be very specific. We have these different avenues. We have work, we have relationships, we have our interpersonal relationships. So the way this exercise works like this. You want to map out all the important categories in your life. So that would be things like your friends, your family, your romantic relationships, your interpersonal relationships, work. And when you have all those categories, what you want to say is, so for example, start with family. Okay, family. If I could have the best version of that thing in the future in about, 6 or 7 years' time, what would it look like? And we want to be very specific. The same with our friends. If I could have the best friendship group in 6 or 7 years' time, what would it look like? The best romantic relationship, realistically, what would it look like? The best interpersonal relationship, my physical health, my mental health, what do I envision? What would that look like? And the same with work as well. And that's half of it, because you do want to specify what they look like realistically and what you'd like to achieve for those in the future, and if you could have it, what it would look like. But you also want to highlight how you're going to achieve these things. So it may well be, okay, I want to improve my physical health. Great, okay, what does that look like? How are you going to achieve that? Are you going to go to the gym? If so, how often are you going to go to the gym? If you're going to try and connect and be closer to your partner, what does that look like? Are you going to go on more holidays? Are you going to sit down? Are you going to have deeper conversations? What kind of things are you going to talk about? You want to be very, very specific, and you want to apply clarity to this as well, because that just sharpens our aim, which gives us a much clearer direction towards our goals and where we're heading, gives us something to aim for. Then you have the other half of the exercise, which is this. It's a very, very similar thing, but it's flipped. So you have a list of the exact same things, work life, personal life, and things like that, but what life would look like if you didn't put in the work, if you didn't put in the effort. So for example, what your family life would look like if you didn't invest in them, what your friendship group would look like if you didn't invest in that, how it would affect you if you didn't invest in your relationship, what your mental health and physical health would look like if you just let it go. If you didn't invest in work, what would life look like? And then you have these kind of two lists. One list works as your aims, your goals, your directions, where you want to go, the most ideal you realistically. And the other one essentially is where life could go should you not put in the work and in the effort. And although this is quite a negative list, it works as a really good motivator, like fire up the backside as it were, to achieve these things here on our priority list, on our goals list, because it's difficult sometimes to achieve our goals, and it takes a lot of effort, but it's a very good motivator where we can see where things would go if we didn't invest in the time and the effort and things like that. And that's a really good motivator as well. So give this exercise a go. It's a very fantastic tool. It's a very handy exercise. My clients certainly get a lot of use out of it. And again, as always, I'd love to hear what your feedback is on this. So take care for now, guys, and we'll speak soon. Bye for now.